Hello and welcome to another episode of Stacked. Today I want to make a follow-up video on my review on the TC Electronic Mimiq because I really wasn't happy with how the pedal sounded and it was way too phasey and just wasn't good. And some of you guys suggested that I should try a different routing. And I was fully aware of this particular routing. However, the Mimiq was advertised as a pedal that you simply put in your existing mono rig and then it will give you basically a two guitar player feel. And that's just not the case. So today let's try out if we put the Mimiq in a bit more complex setup, how it behaves this way. My signal chain is my guitar into my X-Effects. And in one of the FX loops of the X-Effects, I've actually enabled the Mimiq. And as of right now, I've set the wet signal to full, the dry signal to 0, and the tightness to none, because. So for the routing of the Fractal audio, here my guitar comes in, and then we go to an amp. For the amp, I chose the 5153 emulation with the blue channel. Here are the settings, and I've enabled the grinder booster, and I have enabled a different speaker impulse curve. It's just not the stock one. Apart from that, I haven't done anything. And then we split the signal. One signal goes to this deactivated pitch block into the cap. It's the Bowgren Digital Cockjuice. And then we go to output 2, and the other signal goes to this cap block, it's the Greasy Beard, and then it goes to the FX loop where the Mimiq is connected to, currently deactivated, and then to output 1. So, and in my DAW I have panned output 1 to the far right and output 2 to the far left. So first of all, let's deactivate output 2, just output 1. Okay, now output 2. Okay, both activated. Right now the signal seems to be mono because two of the exactly same guitar performances are just simply panned right to left with just a slightly modification in the cabinet impulse, and this doesn't make for a stereo tone. So what I've done, and you can see the scene is labeled mono, so I've enabled a couple of different scenes. First of all, I've created the pitch fake double. And as you can see now, this pitch block is engaged. And here I've basically created a slightly, fake double effect. I've selected the dual detune. I've detuned the voice to just 2 cents. And I've put a slight delay time by 5 milliseconds. And the mix is full. So you're just hearing the mixed signal. Voice 2 is totally disenabled. So you're just hearing the detuned signal coming through output 2. Output 1 is left unchanged. So, how does this sound? We make a quick comparison between scene 1 and scene 2. If you ask me, this is definitely a stereo image and it sounds way fuller. Okay, now for scene 3. The pitch is deactivated and nothing is changed on the other side. Now I've enabled the input, so the signal is right now coming through the Mimiq. and because the Mimiq, for whatever reason, decreases the volume, I've compensated with the output level by 2.5 dB, so both sides have the same signal, and I've disenabled the noise gate that's here. So, Mimiq activated, and now I'll play it, and then we switch back and forth with scene 3 and scene 2. And now let's play around with the tightness. So if you ask me, there's not this much of a difference. Definitely no difference that justifies keeping this pedal for this purpose. However, I've created one more scene, and there I wanted to find out what happens if we put the Mimiq to proper use, so with an blended in dry signal. So let me introduce you scene 4. It's a quad track scene. As you can see, I've enabled the pitch block and the Mimiq, and now for the Mimiq I put the dry signal to around 50%, and my pitch block I've enabled another channel. As you can see, nothing really different. I've just put the delay time to 7 milliseconds, and I have introduced voice 2 with 50% as well. So how does this sound? Well, let's find out. So I had to clear if I've, for some reason, accidentally activated some modulation, because I heard very clearly some modulation going on, but I have not. And, well, yeah, if you ask me, it doesn't sound as good as scene 2 or scene 3. It just doesn't have this impact. It sounds, well, it sounds modulated. And if you listen with headphones, you should hear it as well. And it's just not brutal. Whereas scene 2 and scene 3 are brutal and sound good to me. Especially better than scene 1 when you have the A-B comparison. Okay, I hope I could clear up some things, how to use the Mimiq in a way that works. If you have a dual setup for some reason, or if you just have a stereo setup, just in one side put the Mimiq and compensate the volume loss, and then you're good. However, when you have well, Fractal Audio or Quad Cortex, or I think the Helix can do it as well with a pitch block, and you can basically detune and add some small delay times, you really don't need the Mimiq. So anyways, what do you think? Do you think the sound with the Mimiq sounded better? Or so do you have another opinion? That's totally cool, of course. Just let me know down in the comment section. And if you want to support this channel, check out the links in the description. Well, and with this said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out my Instagram. May the force be with you, and have a nice day.